What's going on, guys? This is Empty Box, and this is some more Battlefield 3 Operation Firestorm Rush Defense with the G3A3 holographic sight, bipod, and flash suppressor. And I'm going to be talking about the G3 itself post-patch because it is a monster, and it is one of my favorite guns in the game, and always was, but now that's finally got its balls back. Hallelujah! And Rush vs. Conquest and some Rush tactics intermixed here as I go. And why I hate snipers. But we'll get to that very, very last. Don't get your panties in a bunch right about now about that, because it'll explain itself during the gameplay. Okay, the G3. First thing I want to talk about is basically why I'm running this setup. A lot of people are saying the heavy barrel is beastly, which it is. I have been running the heavy barrel quite a lot. I've been switching back and forth, just observing what happens with each setup. I wouldn't say either one is better than, that is, heavy barrel versus flash suppressor. However, it depends on the mode, map and mode. What I find in Rush is you're playing a lot closer to the enemy just by the nature of the game. You know, obviously the attackers have to get up in the grill of the defenders, otherwise nothing's ever going to happen, and it isn't going to matter if you're running heavy barrel or flash suppressor or any of that stuff. That's just how it is. The flash suppressor, obviously, muzzle flash is huge in this game. It is one of those things you will not notice. Oh, hey, I got killed because of muzzle flash. You're never going to notice that, but, you know, if you observe how many times that you notice a guy from their muzzle flash when you are playing the game, you know, from your end, you quickly begin to see, hey, maybe flash suppressor is actually a good idea, especially now that, you know, in this patch it doesn't make guns super mega inaccurate like it did before. So that is a big plus. Obviously the heavy barrel is beastly at long range. However, again, in Rush, long range isn't something that you necessarily see too terribly much. It's kind of a toss-up. You know, it can really go either way. I don't feel like there's one that's more effective. However, I think the benefits of the flash suppressor, just by the fact that it suppresses the muzzle flash, is huge. And, you know, it's something that you should look into and, you know, observing that trade-off for yourself, because really there is not one better setup between those two on this gun. You'll see several times here that I use the fire selector. That is something that you have got to get used to if you want to excel with this gun, excuse me, because of the recoil. I mean, full auto firing is just not effective, you know, past, you know, the distance I'm aiming at there at the end of that little concrete wall. It's just not effective full auto firing, so don't even bother. Flip it in semi-auto and just tap that trigger for days. It will definitely reward you if you use semi-auto. It's very effective used that way. It only takes like 5 or 6 bullets to kill, which is, you know, pretty quick, especially if you add in headshots and you basically get double damage. You're going to be dropping people like none other. Obviously there's the 20-round magazine drawback that goes with the high-powered 7.62 by 51 caliber cartridge. Really, it's not so much a drawback as something that you need to learn to use. Obviously, you know, a 30-round magazine is preferred. I mean, heck, a 200-round belt is preferred if you're like me and just want to go full auto and spam everything. Hey, dice, HK21, please. Anyways, it is something that you got to learn to manage. And application, I find that it's really not too terribly big of an issue. I find that I end up getting myself into more issues with thinking, hey, I got 5 bullets left. I can kill this guy. I have confidence in my aim. I'm going to kill this guy before I run out of ammo. And, you know, by the time your bullets actually register, chances are you ran out of ammo and you're reloading. So counting bullets and bad luck. That's pretty much the story of this entire game, but it is a good game, if you ask me. It's a really good, close game of Battlefield that you just gotta love playing. You know, this is one of those games that you just end up finishing and you're just like, good game, man. That was a good game. Makes you happy. But it is something that you definitely want to pay attention to. You'll see actually on this spawn, my death is because I basically run out of bullets in the magazine and just kind of go crazy. But I am using the holographic sight for a reason. Some people prefer the reflex sight or the Cobra sight, saying that the Cobra, you know, has better field of vision. However, there is something that I'm not sure too terribly many people know about, but it does exist, where the holographic sight does have a little bit more zoom. It isn't terribly much. It isn't, you know, the intermediate between a red dot sight or a 3.4 like the M145. You know, it's basically just a little bit more zoom than the reflex or the Cobra sight. Something that once you know it's there, you will notice, but if you don't know it's there, you probably won't notice. But it definitely is something that you should probably take advantage of on a gun like the G3, because it is obviously better at long range. Now, I am not actually using the bipod. I had misspoken earlier, but in application, I find the bipod still doesn't necessarily suit my style, and that is basically, you know, stuff like this where I'm up in front, you know, trying to isolate myself, and I'll go more into that a little bit later. But actually, I was playing around last night with some different setups, and I actually found that if you go with the underbarrel attachment and use a M26 mass, oh my god, the mass now fires the pump action shotgun shells, be it the slugs, the buckshot, the flechette. With the slugs now post-patch are pretty dang beastly. I would strongly suggest you give them a second look if you haven't. But slugs, buckshot, flechette, put it on the bottom of this gun. You know, as soon as you get in close quarters, which is where the G3 really doesn't excel too terribly well, no problem. No problem anymore. If you need to go to long range, you just switch back over to the assault rifle and just boom for days. It is a very effective setup. But you see right here, I want to go into the tactics a little bit more. You see me, I'm kind of in front of this objective behind me here. I do believe that's the A bomb, but you know, some people will say, oh, you're camping, whatever. But what I'm trying to do here, basically this entire game, is to isolate myself and try and control an area, force the enemy to go somewhere else. You'll see several times that I'm basically all alone on an island doing my own thing. If you want to say, oh, you're lone wolfing it, you're not playing as a team player, you know, I think it speaks for myself that that bomb sight didn't go off. The one that I wasn't anywhere near actually did get armed, and I wasn't anywhere near it. But the one I was on, not even close, until I actually ended up leaving it. But that's because I had respawn. You know, that's definitely one of the more effective tactics I find, is controlling your sphere of influence, is what I like to call it. You know, the better of a player you are, the more your sphere is going to grow. And basically, you know, if you're a really good player, I mean, like the best guy in the lobby every single time, you know, everywhere you go, you're gonna be killing people. You know, that's how it works. You're gonna be killing people. They're gonna be basically locked down anywhere you are if you can successfully do that, which basically forces them to either keep trying to aim at you and kill you, which gives you a lot of kills if you are successful in killing them, or alternatively, it forces them to go elsewhere. And if you're by yourself and your team is on the other side of the map, you are basically sending them right into the hornet's nest because of one guy. And that's a very effective tactic if you can pull it off. You know, say lone wolfing, whatever, but there's definitely a place for it. It's definitely a smart tactic to use. You know, getting up in the attacker's grill, making them fight for it rather than just playing sort of in front of your objectives, and just kind of letting them come and go as they please. That's not what you want to do. You want to make them fight for it. You want to make sure they earn it. You know, basically, simple as that. So that's what you're gonna be seeing here several times. However, there's also what I want to talk about was Rush vs. Conquest and consoles, I guess you could say. Obviously, this is on the PC. When I first started playing Battlefield back with Bad Company 1, Battlefield 2, kind of picked those up at the exact same time because it was like, hey, this series is not quite bad. I am interested in this. You know, obviously, Bad Company 1 was rush mode, That was the primary focus. Bad Company 2, of course, much the same, although both games did have Conquest, but if you ask me, it's quite clear that both games were more geared towards Rush, and that was the main focal mode. Here in Battlefield 3, not so clear at all. I find myself, I lean more towards Conquest now, even though in Bad Company 2 I was playing Rush pretty much exclusively until I switched over to PC, and, the mixed mode servers, I like the mixed mode because it's fun and interesting. It's just, a good mixture. As I get shot there, it's a revive. Play some yakety sax right there. But no, it's definitely something that I think has kind of changed, obviously, with PCs now having 64-player Conquest, more true to the original style Battlefield. The maps are a little bit bigger. Not too terribly much bigger, really, but just a little bit bigger. And especially on the console, I get a lot of console players saying, "Oh, but the maps are so big. There's only 24 people. There's games ending. I'm like 3 and 5. Like, this isn't even fun." Which, I have a console. I started playing, Bad Company and Bad Company 2 on there. Switch back over to the PC. I understand this. I think that Rush is a much better mode on the consoles. Even going back to playing Bad Company 2, Rush basically forces the action, by having objectives that everyone has to fight over, basically. And just take a look at that scoreboard there. And you'll quickly begin to see, oh hey, look at Captain Longshot there. Like a boss. But no, I think that Rush is definitely a much better console mode, and really is probably the mode that should have been the focus, although there definitely is kind of some goofy thing going on in Battlefield 3, where if you ask me, several of the maps in Conquest absolutely suck on PC. Think about Operation Metro, Damavan Peak, Sing Crossing 64, way too many players, but a decent map, but way too many players. Whereas in Rush, certain maps do suck as well. Caspian Border, quite frankly, I do not really like in Rush mode. Damavan Peak, again, more just because everybody snipes on that map and it just, nothing ends up happening. And, again, Operation Metro. But Operation Metro on Rush isn't nearly as bad as it is in Conquest, if you ask me. But, the difference between 24 and 32 players really is quite small in my opinion. Obviously 24 versus 64 is a really big difference, but I don't know. I think they kind of went backwards with this release in terms of the maps and everything, because obviously now that the focus has shifted between two modes, I think the quality of maps for both modes actually suffered, and actually the quality of maps for everybody suffered, basically, because now we're trying to make two maps out of one thing and everything. But we're here right towards the end on our last objective. We got to defend this. I rotate back on over here because obviously at this point I really need to be back over here because it's quite clear that my team just isn't going to be able to keep up the pressure. We're starting to get rolled over. I'm over here in this corner wondering what in the world should I do, planning my next move. I see there's guys keep spawning over there. I'm figuring that they probably have a spawn beacon or something. So I'm just going to pop a med kit down and prepare to make a stand here because honestly, I have nowhere to go at this point. And I try and make a move, and that was absolutely stupid in hindsight because I just was standing here like a complete moron. And watch what ends up happening. It's just absolutely hilarious. Where are you going, empty box? Where are you going? Yep. I get headshot by that one guy. The one guy who doesn't spam like 15,000 bullets from a semi-auto sniper. Oh, Battlefield. But no, that isn't why I wanted to touch on why I hate snipers, quote-unquote. Because I should have actually stole his tags, just cuz. But anyways. You'll see here, obviously, there was that long shot guy originally. Yep, he sat on that hill all freaking game. He went 10-0. He got quote-unquote MVP pen. Even though he only got 10 kills, did absolutely nothing, and we're basically going to end up losing, probably because we were playing a man down because some guy seriously thought, I'm a sniper, I'm a sniper. Yep, he's still up there on that hill. This is why nobody likes snipers. Because they're useless. They're useless. But can we clutch it? Can we clutch it? I got stuck. Oh, Battlefield. How I love thee. How I hate thee. Alright, bye.